night maps better. This is a little nitpicky, but I always thought it was cool how it would zoom in on the guy that smoked you. This doesn't need to return, but I did like it. Secure area in ranked was my go-to thing to play for me. You could filter out hostage and bomb and just play secure. But I can understand why it was taken out, but it was fun, because you could have unlimited time in a round if you had a Monty sit in there. I already mentioned this in the last video, but I really do miss these intro screens. I know they got rid of them so you could reconnect to ranked fast, but they were still awesome. Let's see more of Paul Allen's things he misses from old Siege.
Why can't the game just remember that you were previously in a ranked game, so it doesn't have to show you all this shit? It just immediately throw you back in there. They take out all the loading screens because, you know, people disconnect from ranks, so they don't have to load in slower because the loading screens old. That's just lazy. Get the fuck out of here. The game should just remember that this account was in a ranked game. That's just laziness right there.
I'm checking. I can't move. I can't move.
Remember when you could take out defenders with a Twitch drone in the prep phase? Here's a few more things that newer Siege players might not know. IQ
You got one shot.
was basically Warden early on in Siege. She could see through smoke. Also, smoke grenades looked way different. Kavira's old pistol was insane. It had no damage drop-off, along with the old pistol recoil. It was very satisfying to get knocks with it and get interrogations. The Super 90 was basically a sniper, hence the nickname Sniper 90. Old Monty was crazy. Even when cornered, his shield wouldn't move. Another thing was nameplates when you looked at ops, which kinda helped on the night maps. The shield ADS was also insanely fast. When you got smoked in a gunfight but got out with minimal health, you could have someone reset you to 50 health, which would be an absolute game changer in gunfights, and like this clip won me the round. Bartlett University. A lot of people don't even know this map.
Oh, you can just fuck
It's
me.
completely removed from the game now, but it used to be in ranked. I think they were going to rework it but turned it into Emerald Plains, so that's all that's left of it. Remember when Monty used to have the most broken hipfire with the revolver? Here's a few more things that you might have forgotten
Jeez.
about from old Siege. One of the rarest things to happen in Siege was double overtime. If you traded when the game was tied 4-4, it was now 1-7. I've only experienced this one time out of my entire time playing Siege, and that was back in year 1 or 2. Blackbeard's shield was nearly indestructible, like there was absolutely no point in trying to break it. Your only hope was if he missed all his shots or a well-placed C4. Both Frost and Kavira used to have a nitro cell, and back in the day,
Ew.
nitro cells were basically pocket-sized nukes. One of the many weird glitches of old Siege was raptor legs.
We're good. I claimed them.
A Cav's pistol had no damage drop off back in the day? That's disgusting. Well, they changed this game so much. It's terrible. Ubisoft really did remove every original and unique thing from this game to appease Pro League. Yes, sir.
You mean Pro League, more like car babies.
They're just doing the same thing that Overwatch did. They're just changing their whole game just for like less than 1%
Oh,
of
there we go. I
the
got
player
elder
base.
buff now.
That's what kills games. Absolutely, catering your game just to like 1% or less than 1%. The professional players. Oh, gotta change this map because in pro play this happens. Oh, gotta change this character because in pro play this happens. I'm like, shut your fucking little fucking mouth about your pro play. I think Siege used to be fun. Let's say if old Siege was out right now, it'd be the funnest FPS, bar none. But it's not.
Get away. There we go.
Cav also had a nitro cell back in the day. Why did they take? Just go fuck yourself.
I mean, that works too. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like what you want to play League for your shooter?
Sure.
They want to play Misfortune for my shooter.
I have a bajillion health, so.
Yeah,
I'll
true.
just take it.
Yeah, you're an ice golem. Ice
Yeah,
golem
yeah.
takes that health. Oh, toxic.
It's set on a low cooldown.
Okay.
They lied.
Yeah, he revived his teammate and then he
Clue
got it
what
back
caused
10
this to
seconds
happen,
later.
but it
That's
was
fucking
only in kill cams and it was hilarious. When you kept scanning enemies, it used to give you 5 points for each person, and you could be on top of the leaderboard with no kills at the end of the game if you spammed it. The old reflex used to have a much bigger triangle and it was much brighter too. The C4 throw animation looked more clunky and the old knife animation was a quick
such
swipe.
wow.
Remember when the SMG-11 had an ACOG? Here are even more things you might have forgotten about old Siege. Lion was one of the most overpowered ops we've ever seen.
I clicked W,
He
I
gave
hit him
legitimate
and then
wall
zoned
hacks,
out.
and once you heard this sound, you were cooked. You used to be able to see everyone's ranks right in the game, but now you can only see them on R6 Tracker or if you are partied up. You could do. Blackbeard's shield was nearly in.
Oh, can't see each other's ranks now because people are mean to each other. It's like, go fuck yourself. Thank God I experienced this shooter when it was like in its prime. One of the best video game shooters ever.
Indestructible.
Not anymore.
There was absolutely no point in trying to break it. Your only hope was if he missed all his shots.
Blackbeard shield, yes sir.
Both Frost and Kavira used to have a nitro cell, and back in the day, nitro cells were basically pocket-sized nukes.
The fuck?
One of the many weird glitches of old Siege was Raptor.
The only thing that Fortnite brought us is more fucking stupid industry practices. Fortnite just set the new standard negatively. They set the new standard for fucking all the business executives and all the boomers.
Bad things, but also the good things.
That is true. That's definitely true.
Get better tools for movies. So therefore you get better CGI movies, because that's where Unreal is also made in.
Well,
But,
I don't like movies. Yes, sir. What, you never watched Star Wars? George Lucas, baby. Oh. Pretty much. Oh.
Legs. No clue what caused this to happen, but it was only in kill cams and it was hilarious. Entire time playing Siege. Both Frost and Kavira used to have a nitro cell, and back in the day, nitro cells were basically pocket-sized nukes. One of the many weird glitches of old Siege was Raptor legs. No clue what caused this to happen, but it was only in kill cams and it was hilarious.
Oh, Raptor leg. You know, that's scary. Oh, God. Oh, wait, I think I've seen this happen on Siege before. You know, somebody's legs are bent backwards and they look like a raptor running around. It's kind of scary. Ew. That either happened on Helldivers or Siege. I don't remember which game recently it happened on. Somebody's legs were backwards, and and it was pretty scary.
It was Raptor legs. No clue what caused this to happen, but it was only in kill cams and it was hilarious. When you kept scanning enemies, it used to give you 5 points for each start. Thankfully, you can't do this anymore because the queue times lasted longer with people constantly leaving. Do this anymore because the queue right in the game, but now you can only see them on R6 Tracker or if you are partied up. You could dodge a ranked game right up until the match was about to start. Thankfully, you can't do this anymore because the queue times lasted longer with people constantly leaving. Article 5 was a really cool thing they had, and now it's gone completely. You were forced to queue up with 4 other randoms and defuse the White Mask Gang's bombs. It felt like a keystone of old Siege. In old T-Hunt, they used to have these bomber enemies that were absolute tanks and had an explosive radius that was the size of a nuke. This made old Siege a horror game. Glaz used to be able to shoot through castle barracks.
Yeah, I really hate they took out Terrorist Hunt. Because that was like actually a big part of the game when it first came out, because it
Their
was
fucking team.
fucking. It's like literally like one half of the game. You have T Hunt, and then you play multiplayer, and then they just completely like take that big part of the game out, and like retards. I was like, oh, so can I refund? Like, I mean, clearly not, but let's say like if somebody only played Terrorist Hunt, and then once they take Terrorist Hunt out, like, well, what do I play now?
You don't.
Then you just play multiplayer.
Yes, sir. I got my ult into your ult.
Ult.
You get it away, it's awful first one. It's easy.
Yeah, Terrorist Hunt was pretty fun. But do you remember the bombers? They would see you and start breathing like Darth Vader and just run after you and explode. That shit was funny.
Oh, true. Fucking all your health gone.
It's like, oh, the Wide Master coming, and then you hear the, and then they see you and they start.
Yeah, you break
to
one
run
and
after you.
You're like, what the fuck happened on hard?
They're just doing what Overwatch did, but it's worse. Like, at least Blizzard didn't take out content. Like,
Best action.
the fucking Ubisoft Montreal was like, I'll take out content.
That goes to the state.
Because it has terrorist in the name, and we want to be inclusive as possible and not be offensive. Like, oh my god, shut up! You wouldn't have fucking made this game in the first place if you didn't want to be offensive. Like, oh god, stupid and corny fucking mentality, weakness. You know, we don't want to step on anybody's toes, and we just want to be inclusive. Like, shut up! Like, you're offending me by being so weak.
This is a problem.
These are all fucking shit.
And make tiny bullet holes. With enough shots, the castle would just straight up break too. Let's see Paul Allen remember even more things about Old Siege. Remember when attackers could all be using shields?
Recruit with a shield. I can't wait till a recruit rework. Oh, I think that's next season.
Here are even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. Not only could you run 5 shields with just recruit, you could bring a Monty, Blitz, and Fuse along with the 2 recruits. As a defender, this was terrifying to go against. Zofia could just get back up out of sheer willpower. Originally it was 1 health, but they increased it to 5. This mechanic saved so many rounds, including one in Pro League, which is why it got removed. You used to be able to ADS insanely fast with shields. If you lined up a headshot, whoever you were looking at was cooked. Zofia could just get back up out of sheer willpower. Originally it was 1 health.
Ew, I remember that shit. That was disgusting. Zofia, do you know Operator Zofia?
Yeah.
She could actually just revive herself out of just sheer fucking willpower. And guess what? It was taken out because of pro play. Something happened in pro play where some motherfucker was using Zofia in pro play, and he got up because, you know, it's part of the character. He revived himself because it's part of the character, and they took it out. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Go fuck yourself. just take the character out to begin with. And I kind of remember that too when Zofia first came out. Like, she could just, if you downed her, you had to finish her because she was like Doc, because she could just get up and just revive herself. Oh, something happened in pro play. Gotta take it out. Like, go fucking kill yourself. Alright, we're rating this YouTube Siege video.
Oh, fuck.
But they increased it to 5. This mechanic saved so many rounds, including one in Pro League, which is why it got removed. You used to be able to
Save so many
ADS
rounds,
insanely fast
including
with shields.
pro play,
If you lined
which
up
is
a
why it was
headshot,
removed.
Whoever you were looking at was cooked. The SMG-12 used to have no recoil. I guess you could say there was recoil, but it was so much easier to control. It was basically a free headshot every time, and you could use it like it was a primary. The old operator portraits when waiting for everyone to choose their ops used to look way different, and the background too, with all the smoke moving around. Finka's boost used to give you insanely fast ADS and no recoil, but you didn't keep the health, even if you weren't overhealed. once that surge was over, that extra health was over too. Remember when Maestro had insane hip fire on his LMG? Can't forget his ACOG too. Here are even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. Thermite used to have frags, so he was basically a one-man army. You could deal with the bandit yourself, then get the wall. This is what the old menu used to look like. It was a person with a patch that showed wherever the newest op was from. You used to have to buy attachments, and renown was hard to come by early on, especially when you just got a new op. So sometimes you had to go in with minimal attachments. Blitz's running animation used to completely expose him, but hip firing used to be insane. You could actually snipe people across the map if you lined up your crosshairs.
That's gross.
Getting hit by Echo's yokai was the worst thing to deal with. Your screen would wobble back and forth until you stood still. And by that point, you were most likely cooked. Speaking of Echo, he used to have an ACOG, but just one drone. That one drone could go invisible, though, once you stuck it to the ceiling and won a lot of bomb rounds if Echo was off-site hiding somewhere. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege. Remember when the old
Jeez,
run-out
MT5
timer was 2
SDA
seconds
cog.
and your screen would turn all
Gotcha,
yellow?
bitch.
Here's a few more things you might not remember about Old Siege. Pulse used to be able to insta-swap from his heartbeat sensor back to his primary. And I haven't used it in a while, but I feel like his M1014 used to be kind of crazy. Speaking of Pulse, this is what his old heartbeat sensor used to look like. It was blurrier, and at least visually seemed a bit slower. The quick leaning used to be insane. It was way faster, and was nearly impossible to hit someone doing it, especially when there was a big ping
Alright, I guess
difference.
I'm going
This is what
fucking
Hibana used to look like on the right and her new one on the
Heart
left. Honestly, a much needed upgrade. Not sure what they were thinking with the original design. Clash's used to be a
That's
2-burst.
disgusting.
That was honestly not that bad,
I
but it's
remember
way
that.
better now that it's full auto.
Alright, remember old Hibana nasty ass model? So gross.
You can shake with the rock, look.
Clash's shield swap animation was also way
hit the
faster,
ground.
so you
Fight,
could really
fight,
put people
fight,
in the spin
fight, fight.
cycle when she first dropped. The old disabling the diffuser animation used to just be smacking the diffuser, and I think it was faster too, but not 100% sure on that. Remember when you used to be
Where
able
we
to
going?
change your weapon to single fire or 3-round burst? Here's even more things you might not remember about Old Siege.
Wow. Oh, so I actually did
Who's
take
gonna
that
fight
out. So they took out like semi-auto. Certain weapons had semi-auto or like burst fire. It's completely taken that feature out for all the weapons. Like why? There's plenty of times I actually like use semi-auto configurations on weapons, and they just take it out.
True, it makes sense.
Why do they just?
Capcon's
If I have a
traps used to
DMR
one-shot
that
any
happens to be
operator,
full
but you could
auto,
also see the
but I
laser,
can also go
even though
semi-auto
you
with
had
it,
three
I'm gonna try to go
And Capcom was
semi-auto.
also
I
a
can check
1
it over the
speed, so
wall,
it took
you
him
know.
forever to set up. When Malusi first came out, she used to have the T5 and a C4,
I didn't know my
as
key
well
went
as
over
being a
walls.
3-speed, so she was insanely strong. The Roni used to have 20 rounds in a mag instead of 16.
Oh shit, I
I
don't know
didn't know my
this.
key went over walls.
Malusi used to have a
does.
T5. What?
Look. Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that. Neat. It's gonna be E max because it's funny. E second max.
I need to go check on them cats in the garage. Alright, watch that video about Old Siege. It'll make you cry. I'm gonna tie your ass up. I'm gonna. It'll make you cry.
Uh,
3675309.
Kabante?
Did they finally add him back in the game?
Okay. Oh, he didn't walk in front of me. I thought he was gonna dash in front of me. My bad. Hey, buddy. No, you're not.
Go slit, buddy. Go slit, buddy.
He still got me.
Go slit, buddy. Ghost lit, buddy.
Hell yeah. I got Glacial Augment
Oh, nice.
and Aftershock.
Yeah. It'll be tankier and they'll do less damage to you.
Yup. It's okay, I got this bad boy. Every bonus health I gain 80. Ooh, free.
God, there's round 5. Someone died already?
They didn't have a good time.
Wait, how did someone actually die already?
I don't know.
So
They could have quit.
round 5. Oh yeah, they could have quit too. They're really trying to get away from Swain. Oh, he didn't run out. They lost. Swain is permolted. Okay, but how is he running out of mana? Oh god, Cho'Gath has spatula. Wait, we're really fighting Cassandra and Cho'Gath? Fucking
Okay.
okay.
Again. Bro, Cassandra has 2,000 fucking stacks with the Overlord's Blood Maul. Oh, he just got Steal Your Heart.
Steal your heart. And Neil got fucking spatula.
What in the world? I'm gonna Boric. Fuck.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, my thoughts. Oh, I died. I'm dead as fuck. Yeah.
What a team.
Yumi and Katarina, what the fuck?
Eventually, I have to figure it out. There's so much I have to figure out, dude. This is crazy. This project is mad. So much code going everywhere.
Mm.
Alright, so what?
Get away.
Get out. Run away from him. No.
I got sucked in. I can't.
Wait,
I can't move. Oh. I got piked and rooted.
decision contact?
What the fuck that hit me?
No, you got it again. Yeah.
What awful teams.
What? You serious,
We
dude?
haven't faced that Katarina and Yugi. Can we fight against the Katarina and Yugi, please? Oh, thank you. Finally, they gave us it.
Ethereal weapons. E-heat.
Ain't no way they gave you theory weapon. I can never get that fucking augment.
They did.
I
Oh,
don't-
Searing Dawn. There we go.
Oh,
Decision contracts, eh?
Nautilus Malzahar. I forgot that was a team.
this is our first time going against these people, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, they have spatula.
Stop that.
Yeah, nice.
So,
Oh, you didn't dash on me.
I'm so confused.
Fuck that.
So, it's like your
Damn.
definition, but where does that come from? Patron state is the context goes into the controller.
Nice. That was fun.
Forward action.
What
Hey.
fighting? Shake on Bard. We can win this one.
Yeah, but ew.
Honestly, I'm gonna do this. T array. Make that a reference. So we're not copying. So basically,
Jesus, is meeps. Lord.
honestly, let's just make it one for now. Oh. Alright,
Okay.
so this is just gonna be a target tag. I'm not fucking around with that.
He did. Whatever.
That was annoying.
I don't even know where that even comes. Where does this come from?
Oh. Yeah.
which made a bigger difference than you would think. When Golden Gun first came out, it was like a normal game of quick match, so you could use operators' abilities like Oryx. This was the old breaching charge animation. It was slower, but did a lot more damage, so led to some pretty funny moments. Zero had frags when he first came out, but they didn't last long, sadly. Speaking of frags, this isn't old at all, but being able to cook them was the best, and I don't know why they got rid of it. Old Border didn't have bathroom. It was just tellers, and then a...
Wow.
So.
I don't think I've ever
Decisions.
seen a shooter game to do that with the grenades. You know, how, like you can.
Action definition.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked. You know, I can like cook grenades in games, right? You can like cook the timer. You could apparently do that in Siege too, but they took that out because pro playing. It's pretty infuriating. It's like I didn't even
They
notice.
dispense that game from the top down.
Ugh.
My teacher made a mistake. Cause.
You made a mistake.
a wall that led to outside, making it...
Yeah, this is supposed to be decision.
I didn't even realize. I've used frags before, but the fucking timer doesn't start until you let go of the fucking.
It starts when the ball's going in your hand.
it a horrendous sight to defend for any game mode. There was almost nowhere to sit on site. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about old Siege. Remember what running used to look like in Siege? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. For every operator's birthday, Ubisoft would put out a challenge to get a unique charm or skin. They did dog tags for each op, as well as a birthday wrap skin and charms of each operator ability. Everyone on defense used to have 2 reinforcements each, except Recruit, who only had 1. There was no reinforcement pool, so sometimes walls would just get opened immediately. It also was way slower reinforcing than it is now. You used to be able to one-hit barricades and fly right through them if you hit it at the perfect angle. On Old Border, you used to be able to shoot a zero cam right into archives. Since a lot of people used to sit on the hatch to head glitch the bomb chassis, it led to some golden opportunities that don't happen anymore. Smoke used to have the weakest arm in history, and his smoke canisters wouldn't go more than 2 feet. Frost used to hold her gun by the mag on the side instead of underneath. A lot of people used to sit on the hatch to head glitch the bomb chassis. It led to some golden opportunities that don't happen anymore. Smoke used to have the weakest arm in history, and his smoke canisters wouldn't go more than 2 feet. Frost used to hold her gun by the mag on the side instead of underneath. Ella used to pull out a Grismont mine when she was down. Not only would you stun the enemy, but you could also stop the bomb from being defused. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about old Siege. Remember when Nomad's airjet has some golden opportunities that don't happen anymore? Smoke used to have the weakest arm in history, and his smoke canisters wouldn't go more than 2 feet. Frost used to hold her gun by the mag on the side instead of underneath. Ella used to pull out a Grismont mine when she was down. Not only would you stun the enemy, but you could also stop the bomb from being defused. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about old Siege. Remember when Nomad's air jabs would instantly go off on the test server? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Bandit used to have 3 barbed wire, and he was the only op to ever have this for the small time it was there. Oryx used to have the MP5 when he first came out, and he was slower to jump up the hatches. He also would take 10 damage when he'd run through a wall, so his pick rate was really low when he first came out. You used to be able to steal people's kills. If someone else knocked an enemy and you got the last shot, you would get the kill, which led to a lot of tragedies. You used to get points when you would knock someone, and bonus points when you did it with Kavira's old pistol. Nomad and Cade's 44 mag used to be really good when it first came out. It had very little recoil, good damage, and had a different scope. Shields did not stop nitro cells if it landed near you. Even when you were full extended with Monty, you were cooked. There used to be like 10 windows in the canal control room, so you had to try and guess which one was there an op with ACOG just staring at a spawn. Pair this with the old lighting, and it was a massacre every time someone walked out of their spawn. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege. Remember when Valkyrie...
Target is equal to P target.
Old canal. Nighttime.
The old lighting.
Every defender's peeking with an ACOG. Oh my god.
And it was a massacre every time someone walked out of their spawn. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers. Control room, so you... You had to try and guess which one was there an op with ACOG just staring at a spawn. Pair this with the old lighting, and it was a massacre every time someone walked out of their spawn. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege. Remember when Valkyrie could throw her cameras outside? Here's even more things you may have forgotten about Old Siege. The old deployable shield was way different, a lot more clunky, and had no little windows on it. You could also use the shield to block someone from vaulting windows if you placed it sideways. Old Theme Park used to have all these train cars in the middle, and you never knew where someone was lurking. Not only this, but the lighting was really bad on this map. Bullet hole peaks. One of the most broken things in Siege history. You would get spawn peeked and then see you got smoked by someone looking through the cracks of time. This old glitch, when Outback first came out, you could phase through the air conditioning. Although people caught on pretty quick and started putting frost mats there. When they buffed all the pistols, they all had no recoil and were insanely strong. This, but the lighting was really bad on this map. Bullet hole peaks. One of the most broken things in Siege history. You would get spawn peeked and then see you got smoked by someone looking through the cracks of time. This old glitch, when Outback first came out, you could phase through the air conditioner. Although people caught on pretty quick and started putting frost mats there. When they buffed all the pistols, they all had no recoil and were insanely strong, especially Kavira's pistol. Fortress being in ranked. I feel like this map didn't last too long in ranked, however it is still in quick play. The old hatch reinforcement animation and the reinforcement itself were different. It was a lot slower, and it stuck out of the floor, making it pretty awkward to hit with Hibana. Remember when the Lord Tachanka's turret was mounted? Here's even more things you might have forgotten about Old Siege. Originally, Tachanka's turret had no shield covering his head, so you had to hope and pray that the enemy was a bad shot. Tachanka also used to have a different voice actor, and here's a couple of his iconic old lines.
LMG mounted and loaded. Bathroom! Bathroom! Out of ammo! I'm out!
Presidential plane being in ranked. This was one of the most chaotic maps they've ever had in the ranked pool. A close quarters massacre, or when the random would pick Glaz and stay outside on the wing until the end of the round, not getting a single pick. The run-out detection being 5 seconds. This was actually kind of crazy that Ubisoft thought this was going to work. This is what the beta version of Siege looked like. An entirely different HUD and only a couple ops to choose from. Instead of 3 attack or 3 defense rounds, you would alternate defending and attack on the wing. Remember attack or 3 defense rounds? You would alternate defending and attacking every other round. The kitchen on Chalet had a window that attackers could just peek into, and with Prime Blackbeard, it was a free pick every time. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege.
God,
Remember when Goyo had his canisters attached to...
Old Chalet in the kitchen had just a little rectangle window. So if you ever got kitchen, you were essentially fucked, and nobody can anchor, because Blackbeard, yes sir. There was a Blackbeard at the window.
Oh, it's on Viber. On Srivana.
So fucked.
to deployable shields? Here's even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. The castle FPS glitch. This was absolutely insane. You could spam the regular barricade and castle barricade, and this would drop everyone's game below like 10 FPS, making it impossible to play. The old pixel peaks used to be crazy, because like in this Bolo clip.
Wow.
That's how it works.
He just lagged the server out with castle. He'd probably get banned if you did that.
That was a cute stun.
He actually gets smoked by Pulse's elbow. The Doc stim glitch. There was a glitch where Doc had unlimited stims, and this is when Doc overhealed for 40 extra health. This was probably one of the most outrageous glitches we've seen in Siege. I can't find a clip of this anywhere, but Castle used to have a deployable shield, and if you put it in front of his barricade, you couldn't breach it, and sometimes couldn't even melee it. When Doka B used to call you, your phone would ring until you answered. Wish I had a baddie call me nonstop like that. Remember the Rainbow Six Siege reveal trailer? This was probably one of the most outrageous glitches we've seen in Siege.
I won, yeah.
Castle had a shield.
Well.
Ugh.
I can't find a clip of this anywhere, but Castle used to have a deployable shield, and if you put it in front of his barricade, you couldn't breach it, and sometimes couldn't even melee it. When Doka B used to call you, your phone would ring until you answered. Wish I had a baddie call me nonstop like that.
If Dokkaebi would call you, you would have to hang up your phone. It didn't just stop over time. Roamers. Get fucked. Oh no, that's not good.
Remember the Rainbow Six Siege reveal trailer? It's almost 10 years old. Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. The old pistol recoil was crazy, but the old Desert Eagle recoil was something else. As seen in the GOAT Anthony Pitts Blackbeard video, this deagle was nearly impossible to use, with the recoil kicking to the ceiling. Old Hereford base being in ranked, this map was one of my favorites and they pretty much ruined it with the rework.
Wow.
I think it's completely gone from the game now too. The old destruction with shotties used to be pretty bad. You needed to use a lot of ammo just to make a tiny rotation. You used to be able to climb on the vent on old Cafe Dostoevsky. This would give you a crazy angle all the way down to the reading door or anyone running under skylight. The old F2, no recoil, had an ACOG, 31 rounds in a mag, and still had the vertical grip. If you were picking Twitch back in the day, it most certainly was not to use her drone. Remember when Jaeger could have a deployable shield for a head? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. The Tachanka 3-speed glitch. If you hopped on and off of Tachanka's turret a few times, it would make you run faster, so this could turn a 1-speed into a 3-speed. Getting swung by a 3-speed dock was crazy. One of the many Clash glitches was shooting with your shield out. This was one of the most game-breaking glitches we've seen in Siege, to the point where Ubisoft just straight up had Clash removed from the game at a point. There actually was a point where you could break Lion's drone. This didn't last long at all, but Ubisoft just straight up had Clash removed from the game at a point. The many Clash glitches was shooting with your shield out. Siege. The Tachanka 3-speed glitch. If you hopped on and off of Tachanka's turret a few times, it would make you run faster, so this could turn a 1-speed into a 3-speed. Getting swung by a 3-speed dock was crazy. One of the many Clash glitches was shooting with your shield out. This was one of the most game-breaking glitches we've seen in Siege, to the point where Ubisoft just straight up had Clash removed from the game at a point. There actually was a point where you could break Lion's drone. This didn't last long at all, but it was pretty weird how they even had hit markers for it. You used to be able to climb on the ledge right outside of the tiny control windows on Canal but it was pretty weird how they moved from the game at a point. There actually was a point where you could break Lion's drone. This didn't last long at all, but it was pretty weird how they even had hit markers for it.
Ew, these motherfuckers managed to just destroy Lion's drone. Ew.
I got a flash.
Wait, are you serious?
Jumped out and shot the... Wow.
You used to be able to climb on the ledge right outside of the tiny control windows on Canal. You could also safely fall off the ledge without taking any fall damage, so it was low risk, high reward. The Invisible and Invincible IQ glitch. This glitch was another insane one that was game-breaking, where IQ's hitbox was still outside, while she could run around inside and be untouchable, unless she hit a trap. Remember when you could glitch outside of the building during the prep phase? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Not only was there the glitch with the barricade to get out during the prep phase, but there was the deployable shield glitch that could get you...
The barricade glitch to get out during the prep phase? What?
...outside too. So this worked on pretty much every map. Casual rounds used to be 4 minutes long, and at the time it was actually called casual, not quick play or standard. On Old Oregon, you used to be able to get inside the washer and dryer, making you completely invincible, and you could hop back out by vaulting the shield. The headshot hitbox used to be horrible. Sometimes you would straight up headshot someone and it wouldn't register, or it would be that you technically hit their helmet. In previous seasons we used to get 2 operators, a new map, new weapons, and a few extra bonus things here and there. And you would get all of these things with the season pass. Ranking up used to be really inconsistent with the ELO. Sometimes you would only get 10 ELO for a game, but the next one you'd lose 50.
Oh, I forgot.
You could see what this was like in the GOAT Anthony Pitts Platinum Limbo video. Remember when Zofia had 4 stuns along with her 2 nades? Here's even more stuff you might not remember about Old Siege. Barbed wire used to slow you down significantly more than it
Holy
does now,
fuck, I
and I
didn't
think
realize
it
it
was
was
3
here.
melees to
I
break as
executed.
well. We were supposed to get a Polish season in year 2, but it got scrapped, and we just ended up getting Ella and Zofia in Blood Orchid and White Noise. During this Polish season, we were supposed to get a new map. No clue if they ended up using it for any current maps we have,
Hey, is that
or if
mine?
it's still on the back burner waiting to be released. The invisible operator glitch, I don't remember how you did this, but I think it was during Operation Chimera. The only way you could spot someone was by seeing their floating weapons. On Old Chalet, you used to be able to climb
Oh, I
up
got fucking smited again.
Invisible.
Whatever.
and sit on top of the fridge in the
It's
kitchen, just out of view
I
from
was
that
just
small
like, oh,
window where
it's cool.
Blackbeard always sat. Who can forget Kickstar's iconic Ace on plane? Rest in peace, Kicks.
I got 4K. That's prismatic. These are fucking. These are awful.
Remember when Yacht was a ranked map? Here's even more things
Yeah,
you might
fuck it.
not
I'll just
remember
get this
about
and
Old
sell it.
Siege. Capitow's Fire used to not only look very different, but it acted very different too. It used to kind of float wherever it was shot, and it wouldn't
It
spread
was like
around.
Sanguine's gift.
Very
I was like, I
different
don't
from
do
what
that.
it is now. There used to be no FOV on console, so everyone was locked at 60.
I don't
Most
give a-
console games didn't have this at the time anyway,
Oh,
so we didn't
but
really
it's
know
not
what
enough
we
to
were
trigger
missing.
it. It's
The
like,
Blitz hipfire glitch. If you placed a breaching charge, repelled, got off repel, and
It's
pick up the
healing.
breaching
It's a
charge
heal.
really
What
quick,
is it?
it would give you
Motherfucker,
insane
stop.
hip firing. You used to have different
That's
ranks on
fine.
different servers. For example, if you played on a US
just
East
melt her,
Coast
I
server
guess.
and were Gold 1, you could queue up with people in the UK and get a whole new
Look at
rank
that.
after 10 placements, while
Not
still
again,
keeping your
Jen, I
Gold
just
1
got
on East
fucking-
Coast. It used to tell you who did
just got
damage to
got.
you and also how much they did. Not sure why they took this feature out, honestly, it was
Stop.
cool. I don't remember if this was just a glitch or this is how it was, but in this old clip,
It was just
Bandit didn't
ridiculous.
counter Hibana. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege.
Bro,
Remember when
Jen,
the announcer on
fucking-
Border used to yell this on the loudspeaker 1 on East Coast? It used to tell you who did damage to you and also how much they did. Not sure why they took this feature out, honestly, it was cool. I don't remember if this was just a glitch or this is how it was, but in this old clip, Bandit didn't counter Hibana. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege. Remember when the announcer on Border used to yell this on the loudspeaker? Here's even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. I've talked about Maestro's hipfire before, but some people forget about the hipfire on the Hibana.
She did, which is nasty. Twice on me.
What the fuck happened over here? Dragon's dead.
I don't know.
Do not attempt to board the helicopter.
Oh, they already lost. That's what happened. Oh, we haven't lost yet. He.
Diodes. I got my Borderlands shirt.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh my god, she critted me. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, doing Essence 3. Ew, full crit. Yeah.
Oh, so let's see. The fuck?
Let's see what else Paul Allen
Oh.
remembers about Old Siege. Remember when the announcer on Border used to yell this on the loudspeaker? Here's even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. I've talked about Maestro's hipfire before, but some people forget about the hipfire on the PDW. It was almost as good as Maestro's. Not only the PDW, but the 417s was really good too. There was also a point where it only had 11 rounds in a mag, and was thankfully increased to 21, making it much more viable. Old Favela, not only was it incredibly close quarters and chaotic, but it was also in ranked. I low-key miss this map. I know it's bad for ranked, but it was still a lot of fun. Buck having frags and his DMR having almost no fire cap. Basically could be full auto if you were fast enough. Bodies would not disappear, they would just be lying there, and you could hide in them if you were sneaky enough. Remember when Blitz had no cooldown on his flashes? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Shields used to be a one-hit no matter the armor or health you had.
Oh, come
the
on.
old LMG meta. Especially Zophia's LMG, you could just hold the trigger and let 150 rounds fly with absolutely no recoil.
Oh, shit, go
And
up.
you could still reload cancel at the time too. The old Valkyrie camera glitch on Bank. If you threw a cam out of the map in the back alley,
Oh my god.
your camera would be completely black, but you'd be able to spot every attacker no matter where they were on the map, and the camera was also indestructible.
Probably.
For whatever reason, Capitao used to have blue smoke. It also looked way different texture-wise. It was like multiple clouds. Thatcher used to destroy gadgets completely instead of disabling them. This included cameras too. This made bandit tricking way more difficult. Remember when you could drop shot in Siege? Here are even more things you might not remember about old Siege. On Old House, you could climb up into that little tree house and have an angle all the way into master bedroom. Sadly, the spot isn't nearly as good on the reworked house. Speaking of angles on Old House, being able to climb on the dresser in Master if you vaulted over a shield onto it. One of the best spots of old Siege. In the reveal trailer when they showed the attackers rappelling out of a helicopter instead of just spawning in. This whole trailer is honestly a different game in its entirety. This is what the UI in the beta looked like. As seen in the Goat Russian Badgers video, almost nothing looks the same except for the frag and breach charge logo. These are all the old operator icons in the beta. If the names
I have 3 souls.
Oh, thank god.
Yeah, no, we're not fighting. Which teams? Alright, somebody is definitely. Also, 2 teams are definitely getting kicked out.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, she missed. Oh, she would have won if she landed it. Goodbye.
names weren't right below them, there's no shot I'd even be able to guess which op is which. Seriously, just look at Blitz's logo. This isn't really an old Siege thing, but whatever happened with that Thatcher rework that was shown back during the reveal of Year 7? Did they just end up scrapping the idea altogether? Remember when you could hop out of the window on tower with Doc? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Any op could hop out of the window, but Doc was the only one that would survive. Once you were down there, you were stuck like Chuck, and the only way you were winning the round was if the attackers threw. There used to be no map or operator banning. Once that game started, you were locked into playing that map and went right to picking your operator for the round. The old matchmaking used to take forever since you could dodge before the game started. You were lucky to make it in, within under a minute, although the queue times today aren't much better sometimes. The old pinging system, there were no numbers on the ping, so saying "over there on my ping" usually ended in a tragedy if there was more than one ping. The old season pass, I wish they would bring this back, but it kind of makes sense why they don't since we're only getting 2 new ops this year. It was actually worth buying back in the day. Remember the Grand Larceny event? This is something I'd love to see return. Here are even more things you might have forgotten about.
Oh no, I fucking remember that that shit was sweaty as fuck. That fucking... Oh no. It'll probably come back this year though.
I got the point, I thought.
Yes, sir.
In York's
For the Grand
passive
Larceny
did
event,
1100 out.
This is something I'd love to see return. Here are even more things you might have forgotten about old Siege. On old Café Dostoevsky, the bomb site used to be kitchen and bakery. Small bakery was not a thing, and the room was really difficult to defend since you could plant right at the front door. And the kitchen layout was different too. Prep had a window to outside and was actually called Bakery Kitchen. The other 2 kitchen rooms were Kitchen Grill and Kitchen Prep. You used to only be able to have 1 drone out at a time. If you had a drone set up somewhere on the map, throwing out your second drone would break the first one automatically. The only gameplay I could find of this was from the GOAT Macy J, but Valkyrie used to have 4 cameras. Being able to throw 4 cameras wherever you wanted, including outside, was insanely strong. Remember when you could vote to kick your teammates in ranked? Here are even more things you might not remember about old Siege.
wonder if that was one of the only games that like had like a vote to kick system in a ranked setting. That shit was funny. Old Siege, you just get randomly, you know, you just play ranked, but you're playing with the 4-stack and you do something slightly
don't
like
have that.
wrong and they just kick you out.
That might be fine.
That shit was so funny. Vote to kick in ranked. Yes, sir.
Smoke used to have a
That's
nitro
great,
cell,
motherfucking
and this was
had that.
back when they were nukes, so he was
No,
a really
Lux,
good
no.
shield counter. Ghost Recon
Dude, Lux-
Wildlands had a
Lux
crossover with
had
Siege
health,
back in
man.
2018. You had to track down
Lux
Kavira
killed
after
me.
she went rogue, and you can play as all the Siege operators all the way
No,
up
I'm
to
saying Lux
Parabellum.
did more over half.
They even still have the old Hibana in this. The recoil on Buck's AR was outrageous, especially on console. It would bounce all over the place and you had to pull down a lot to control it. His old DMR was the way to go back then. Getting inside of the safety deposit boxes in the vault on
There's
Bank.
no way my W
This glitch was crazy because you were invincible
I bet
until
the
you
money.
popped out slightly. And
A
this was right
contract
where the
killer.
hostage was. The old Rook armor animation. Not only was the animation different, but it was green instead of blue, and Rook didn't automatically pick it up. Remember when you could knock out parts of a castle barricade with a few melee hits in the closed alpha? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Console had a
Jeez, the closed alpha. Oh my god.
closed alpha.
It looks like a fucking Xbox 360 game. Jesus.
Really hoping for fucking. Actually, I should try for Mountaineer. Let's see if I can get Mountaineer.
Slightly. And this was
That would have been fun as hell.
No, I already have Ocean Soul 2. What happens if I click Ocean Soul? Will it give
Oh,
me-
you get it. You click it. Click it. Click it. Yeah. It gives you the one you're missing. I was gonna say click it.
Okay. Wait.
Actually, you could have just played Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah,
1 and
you
2.
do. That's what I'm saying. You have 5.
Those were definitely out at the time.
right where the hostage was. The old Rook armor animation. Not only was the animation different, but it was green instead of blue, and Rook didn't automatically pick it up. Remember when you could knock out parts of a castle barricade with a few melee hits in the closed alpha? Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Console had a Pro League scene. This didn't last long at all. I think it lasted about a year before they abandoned it. It would be really cool to see this return, especially now since there are so many console players. This was especially now since there are so many more things you might not remember about old Siege. Console had a Pro League scene.
Hey, you got
This
all
didn't
them.
last long at all. I think it lasted about a year before they abandoned it. It would be really cool to see this return,
I got
especially
Magic
now since
Missile.
there are so many console players. This was a small thing, but having to press a button to activate your drone. I definitely don't miss this. I'm a bigger fan of the advanced setting.
I got
Hibana's
the
pellets used to only be
yeah,
6 at a
doesn't have
time.
some
You couldn't
pellets.
switch it to 4 or 2. And also, it was
Oh, I have more
insanely
else than I
buggy.
ever
Sometimes you had to push the activate
I already
button
had.
multiple times to get it to go off, or only a few of them would go off. The R4C had no recoil, and was one of the best weapons on attack for a while. You could just fly in with Ash and cook whoever you aimed at. The drone in the reveal trailer was way smaller than the actual drone that we
What the
ended up
fuck?
getting. Imagine the drone spots people would have found if they kept the drones like this. Remember Iconic's clutch on Oregon against Dark Zero? It's would have found if they kept the actual drone that whoever you aimed at. The drone in the reveal trailer was way smaller than the actual drone
Nope.
that we ended up getting.
Yeah, nice. I was moving at fucking 10 movement speed right there.
Imagine the drone spots people would have found if they kept the drones like this. Remember Iconic's clutch on Oregon against Dark Zero? It's not that old, but still awesome. But here's even more things you might have forgotten
Yep,
about old
from round
Siege.
one.
Bolo's insane ace clutch on Coastline. The quick leaning, the different recoil pattern for the R4C with black ice, the old pistol recoil, the 5-second plant time. All while remaining cool, calm, and collected. This was Prime Year 2 Siege. On old Hereford in the basement, you used to be able to climb on top of the shelves. This was a great spot back when the game first came out, because it caught people off guard. That sprinkler and alarm that was constantly making noise in the basement hallway on Bank. I don't remember when they changed it, but it was one of the best changes they've ever made to Bank. You used to be able to glitch out the MVP pose in T-Hunt. All you needed to do was finish the game where the characters stand, and it would glitch out. This was one of the funniest glitches that I don't think too many people knew about. Remember when you would hit someone, you'd basically paint the walls or floors bright red? Here are even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. When Prime Lion, Finka, and Blitz had the Pro League scene in absolute shambles. Every round you'd see Lion picked in a super aggressive attacking round. Lion almost ruined Siege Pro League. Doc didn't have an overheal ability. His stim pistol was only used for reviving either yourself or your teammates to 75 health, which was honestly a big deal back in the day. I couldn't find a clip of this anywhere, but I think if you hit your teammates with a stim pistol while they were up, it would actually do damage. The old operator selection screen, there were only a handful of ops, especially at launch, but
Damn it, there's a pig screaming. Damn it, pigs.
people off guard. That sprinkler and alarm that was constantly making noise in the basement hallway on Bank. I don't remember when they changed it, but it was one of the best changes they've ever made to Bank. You used to be able to glitch out the MVP pose in T-Hunt. All you needed to do was finish the game where the characters stand, and it would glitch out. This was one of the funniest glitches that I don't think too many people knew about. Remember when you would hit someone, you'd basically paint the walls or floors bright red? Here are even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. When Prime Lion, Finka, and Blitz had the Pro League scene in absolute shambles. Every round you'd see Lion picked in a super aggressive attacking round. Lion almost ruined Siege Pro League. Doc didn't have an overheal ability. His stim pistol was only used for reviving either yourself or your teammates to 75 health, which was honestly a big deal back in the day. I couldn't find a clip of this anywhere, but I think if you hit your teammates with a stim pistol while they were up, it would actually do damage. The old operator selection screen, there were only a handful of ops, especially at launch, but it's honestly crazy how many ops we have now. I'm actually in an old Evan Braddock video called The Recruit Anthem. The video is almost 7 years old, and it was really cool to see my friend and I in this video. You can see my PlayStation name that I still have, the Ninja Gamer 99. I made it when I was 12 and thought it was cool. Remember when Doc used to overheal 40 health? Here's even more things you might not remember about Old Siege. Fortress being in ranked. This map was massive and definitely wasn't my favorite to get, but I still had fun on it. I'd like to see this map return with a rework fixing some of the chaotic sites on this map. This infamous Bolo clip always gets me.
That's what I said, a Ramu.
Reflex C used to be the only site you could use on Clash's secondary, along with it being a 2-burst. It honestly wasn't that bad, but it's definitely better having it full auto with whatever site. When Legion could steal Frost's kill with his goo mine if he threw one on her Frost mat. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely was the Legion player that would do this to get on the board if I was at the bottom. The old grenade glitch. If you pulled out a frag and put it away really fast, the frag would still go off, usually resulting in a tragedy. Not needing to be level 50 to play ranked. I think originally you could hop in at any level, then they raised it to 20, then to 25, then 50. But not 100% sure. Let's see what else Paul Allen remembers about Old Siege.
Yeah. Perfectly describes modern Ubisoft. Sterile. Back when the game had a tactical feel. I love the shadowy lighting, the gritty graphics, the night maps. Now it's all so sterile.
The hell? Ban him now. Let me see if this even compiles. Most definitely does not. It should added a bunch of shit. precision contact, line 16. Oh, well, yeah, I have to change that to class. Okay, sorry, but that's just that.
AJ.
Whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's what I'm supposed to get.
Scored action, line 14.
Do I just go full lethality? No, I go crit. I go crit. Fuck if I know. I'm going attack speed. Oh, it is a teleport. Perfect. I got dashing. 250
Enemy
ability
has
for my
the ball.
dashing ability.
In sight. Taking fire. Seize the scout. Round 1.
It says 5 seconds, but you know I haven't dashed yet. Let me get one of those. Oh.
Yeah, that kind of equals 0 up there. That's good shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, H1 is stripping out. What happened? 56.
Prevent further access to biohazard container.
Oh.
Friendly's victorious. Hostile delivery. Prevent further access to biohazard container. Friendly's victorious. Hostile delivery.
Oh, it's just return Alpana. Yeah, it's gonna be the same motherfucker.
Tossing a flashbang!
But Mr. Bear escaped. The little operators had finally saved Mr. Bear with only a minimal amount of restitching.
I don't cut my Q off again. Bro, Rammus is so annoying. He is really fast. I don't know why he's.
Mr. Bear escaped. The little operators had finally saved Mr. Bear.
I was like, why is Sway so fast, bro? I'm fucking melee and he's.
I have 415. I have 427.
The hostage from securing the container. Prevent further access to the biohazard container. Op 4, last op.
I mean, awful.
The hostage from securing the container. Prevent further access to the biohazard container. Op 4, last op.
Okay.
Biohazard container. 5 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated.
Ooh.
What?
Bro, they use both ults to keep me off. What is this spell wake bullshit?
What's that? Yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll drink.
It was
15
either
seconds.
that or tank items. Or EP, so...
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
I'm gonna cry.
Seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Left. 5 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Hup, hup.
No fucking way, he didn't die! Look at his film. Okay, he died. What did I say?
That should be fine.
Goodbye.
Oh. Alright. So, go to the Patreon component.
Alright.
We have the initial states, some decay values.
That's not
taken
bad.
from that. We have the idle state. Alright, so
Well, I got a bunch of tags to figure out.
okay. This is cool. This is a lot of
Not bad. I'm just saying, we get this. Oh, I can't move. That's great. I'm so happy. I guess Silas. It was awful.
15 seconds. 10 seconds. Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
So, if I run this, will it die?
No.
You're right, it doesn't die, but, it never fucking ticks. Wait. Hmm? Wait a minute. Patreon manager.
They really did remove half
Yeah,
the
when I'm
game and
ulting.
called it progress.
Oh, I might be able to win this one.
Oh, that's absolutely a straw man. Ugh. Yup, 70 ops and over 20 maps, but sure, half the game is gone because they got rid of Jaeger ACOG. Straw man.
I think that's the issue.
Oh boy, I'm coming.
It's not something that shows up in the editor. Maybe it's not an instance thing. It's a boot thing.
What the fuck?
Nice. He died. Yeah, plan.
Yeah.
Get your manager. Start with tick enabled.
He has accelerated sorcery. Nice. We found
We're
the
good.
blue ship.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I got lower attack speed because I rerolled it. Nasty. Why thought I was supposed to upgrade? It went from 76% to 50.
Arrowton and Assault. This time, of course, Aurelian still has the big fucking one word fighting him.
Oh yeah, and the detonation bomb.
Heal, you can ult right away if you want.
Alright.
I'll speed you up with my heal.
Oh. Why was it the breakpoint gone?
Don't worry, I got fucking... He really Zonya's, I couldn't Q him.
Okay. Now it's
Wait,
fifteen.
wow. Why does he have Zonya's?
Dude, how did he get him so far away? He has Woogly Twitch. He's full.
Oh.
How did he get so far away from him?
I don't know, but I fucking Q'd and he... His Ard hits him. So fun.
Unable to read memory. Well, that's just fucking annoying. Shit. Why unable to read memory? I don't know. There's some stupid shit. Fine, like. Whatever, man. I don't wanna be a bitch. I stuck. Damn ass.
Neato.
That was a good last one then.
Double alted.
Oh, you got 10 more games to play.
Huh?
You got 10 more matches to play.
Shut up. You didn't even get on, you bitch. You can't say shit.
I'm still sleeping away. Let's run it again. And again. And again. What? Oh. Fair enough. I fucked that one up. Recompile. Oh god.
This guy's weird, bro.
Yo, boy,
This guy's host is scouts. This
Stop
motherfucker.
fucking, dude. I'm actually gonna lose it, bro.
Op 4 eliminated all friendly. What? How? That's big. I crouched on my screen.
Well played, Jinxie. Well played.
Alright, bro. Lock the fuck in, bro. Alright, I'm so fucking dumb.
Shotgun every round. Every round is shotgun in my face.
Okay.
Secure the bombs.
Why are you guys staying still eating like I've been eating for the past
Bro, is he
fucking
hiding
like
his
continuous
Down to 10
hour?
seconds. Be advised, a bomb location has been compromised. 5 seconds.
I went to go get more food, bro. This is meal 2 out of 3 for today.
Your location has been compromised.
It's crazy, bro.
Morbusly a beast.
Yo, this guy's too weird, bro.
Gotta share? No, you guys can't have my calories. They're my calories. Second lunch. Bro, it's 6 p.m. from here now.
Yo, this guy's too
My
weird.
first
chat.
meal was at like 2 p.m.
Where's his fucking
Second
throne?
meal at 6, and I'll have my last
Where's
one
his
at like
throne?
fucking...
Where
I don't know,
is
9.
his throne? Bro,
Where am I at? I don't live in
Bro,
Hawaii.
where's this guy?
I would say where I'm from, but...
God,
Utility
YouTube
merchant.
is just so slow
Utility
now,
merchant.
bro. I have no idea why.
You're a utility merchant.
Thank God I don't even try to use
You
it.
are a utility merchant. You are a utility merchant.
Accidentally opened up, back to YouTube.
Yes, I live in Oregon, the state. Not the fucking map, bro. I can't believe the first time I ever told you guys I lived in Oregon,
Make that shit, boy.
chat was deadass like, the map? I'm like,
Come on now, Jocko. Come on now, pussy.
Athena the host. You guys are fucking weird, bro. Nah, bro.
Come on now, pussy. Peek here. Peek here. Peek now, pussy.
You really have a front row seat.
Come on, pussy.
Junko clears. Junko clears. Holy crap.
Bring it on. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, chat. It's all good.
Who do I think is gonna
Part of the
win?
script, bro.
I would.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Spoyd kind of reminds me of like an Asian Ronaldo or an Asian Clicks.
Alright. Alright, Jinxie.
What?
Guys, I'm gonna bait him. I'm gonna bait him. Watch this, chat. Watch this, chat.
Protect the bombs.
Just watch this, by the way, chat. This is gonna be the easiest round. Like, I'm gonna be outplaying him so hard this round. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo and Spoy have like the same build too.
Hold it, dude. Think for the tier 1. Think for the tier 1.
Op 4 has yet to
Where did he
I
spawn?
met Ronaldo at
Where
TwitchCon,
did he spawn, chat?
and I didn't know he was like,
Wait, is he not gonna leave spawn?
he's a lot shorter than I thought. But he's a nice person though.
Is he not gonna leave spawn, chat? Where's this guy?
He's a nice person though.
Okay, he's in spawn. He's Ying. I heard his gun. Yeah, this guy, bro. Yeah, there you go.
Holy shit. Bro did no TLDR. Didn't even chop this video right either.
Oh, damn.
Unreal stupidity.
They never should have got rid of the old Iana outro pose. Here's a few more things that I miss in Siege. Bandit and Jaeger ACOG was so much fun to use, and I can't believe they aren't bringing them back with the new season. But at least Ashika used to one-shot any operator, but you could also see the laser, and he only had 3 of them. To be able to change your weapon to single fire or 3-round burst. Here's even more things you might not remember about old Siege. Capkin's traps used to one-shot any operator, but you could also see the laser, and he only had 3 of them. And Capkin was also a 1-speed, so it took him forever to set up. When Malusi first came out, she used to have the T5 and a C4, as well as being a 3-speed, so she was insanely strong. Roni used to have 20 rounds in a mag instead of 16, which made a bigger difference than you would think. When Golden Gun first came out, it was like a normal game of quick match, so you could use operators' abilities like Oryx. This was the old breaching charge animation. It was slower, but did a lot more damage, so led to some pretty funny moments. Zero had frags when he first came out, but they didn't last long, sadly. Speaking of frags, this isn't old at all, but being able to cook them was the best, and I don't know why they got rid of it. Old Border didn't have bathroom. It was just tellers, and
So I guess they just got rid of that fucking feature. That's so stupid. Go fuck yourself. Getting rid of features. Go fuck yourself. Got him.
If I go to here, go to this.
This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of
Very Smith & Wesson. That scalloped sort of double curved revolver, which is I think still in their armory, but I don't think they use anymore. I'm not aware of anyone ever using a 44 for this kind of counter-terrorist work. Doesn't really make much sense. But it is of course cool. We see it there being sort of a combination of two techniques. The one being the classic cowboy fanning, where you are trying to increasing rate of fire at the expense of hitting the damn thing by holding down the trigger and fanning the hammer. Now, with a double action, that's completely unnecessary. but what's being done is more like slip hammer, which again is a single action revolver thing. So revolvers where you have to cock it first. You take a two-handed grip, you hold down the trigger again, and you just pull back and release trigger. So it's like a more accurate, slightly better version of fanning. Essentially what we see here, there's absolutely no advantage to doing it with a double action revolver. Doesn't make any sense at all. You just spam that trigger just like you would with any other handgun. Ooh. Is this you playing again, Dave?
No, we got my colleague Jake to record this time, but I think my influence has permeated through the rest of the team.
Clearly. This is as it says, it's an M12, specifically, well, it should really be PM12S. Very tiny looking suppressor on there. That's a Beretta, by the way, so it's Beretta submachine gun. Fun fact, the new pulse rifle thing from the new Alien movie, at its core, is one of these. Of course, we've got this terrible sort of dip camouflage finish. I'll ignore the duck charm, except I haven't just acknowledged its existence. It's an interesting one because the cosmetics are overriding my annoyance at the rails, which is the other thing. So here's a proper PM12S. Classic Cold War sheet metal built submachine gun, very compact when its stock is folded. Very well respected design. You'll notice no Picatinny rail on top. Now, that's not to say, no, that is to say that you couldn't have one on this because the ejection opening, ejection port, is actually slightly over center. You'd have to engineer some sort of solution for a rail on this thing, which would, well, you wouldn't. You would just put a strip of rail here, weld it on, and put your little red dot on there. What you should probably do is get yourself a 5.56 carbine instead. Which they're not bad, they're really not bad, but they're not what you would want in a truly modern submachine gun, which is why Beretta now has a replacement for this thing, PMX. Oh dear. Right, the MX4 Storm. Now, for those of you familiar with the Beretta CX4 Storm, C for carbine, you might not know about the MX4. You might be thinking, that's a legally different name. It's not, actually, which is very interesting from a legal standpoint. Don't forget to watch our loadout episode on the legalities of names and indeed likenesses of guns in games. The fact that this is called the MX4 Storm, which is a real thing, is very interesting. The thing itself is horrifying because, well, let me count the ways. I think the leprechaun paint scheme is probably the chief offender. Clearly that's optional, so I'll move on from that. That suppressor looks far too small, like it's scaled right down. Classic video game dispersion pattern there, although not too crazy. I've recently learned the Counter-Strike dispersion patterns are absolutely crazy. This, at least, is basically just going straight up with a little bit of lateral play. And I guess if you held it really loosely and just let it ride up, it might do that. Realistically, it's also going to if you're going to hold it that loosely, it's also going to climb up and right, like basically everything does if you have it in your right shoulder. Some lovely beauty shots of this abomination. Thanks, I guess. Very nice texturing on that, with that Damascus watered steel kind of finish there. Obviously, an AK derivative like this is not manufactured from any kind of special or pattern welded, whichever definition of Damascus you're using. AKs aren't made from it. And underneath all this is essentially an AK. So aware of the name of this thing, closest thing we would have to this, which is the 5.56 variant of what this is, which is actually the Polish Beryl. I tried to pronounce it like that because Beryl is an old lady's name in the UK, and it always makes me laugh to think of a gun that's called Beryl. Sorry, Poland, I know that's not the intent. I know it's beryllium. So you can sort of see that they have in fact started with a model that's somewhat close to the actual Beryl. It's a pretty steep departure. So the name matches the apparent caliber, matches a couple of features of the gun, but it doesn't have this big railed bridge over the top cover. Poland did not go the route of a railed top cover. All sorts of problems are encountered with that. Poland went for a great big girder attached to the front trunnion and then attached to the rear trunnion. So just completely bypassing this wobbly sheet metal top cover that isn't great and putting optics on. In Siege World, we've got a rail top cover without any form of additional latching to secure it at the rear, which is the biggest issue with a railed top cover. The flip-flop hanging off the side, I think, is the most offensive charm I've ever seen on a video game firearm. Well done, guys. Okay, HK416. We only have the old school HK416, the base model. These are marked D. D is essentially a mistake. It stands for just HK Defense and was not supposed to have been left on the guns, amusingly. Anyway, ours is marked D. It shares with this model that very square magazine well, much less slanted than the classic AR-15 magazine well. Later models of 416 So what's the C model? Well, was a C model HK416. C for compact. Well, they prototype only, so it should not exist. Well, I guess Team Rainbow have very good contacts, so maybe they specifically acquired it. But it's pretty out of date by this point. This thing was around 2011-ish was the last time I think anyone saw one outside of the AFK.
We don't know how she got there, but we know how she
It's a miracle she had
Looks like the correct.
We don't know how she got there, but we know how she didn't get there.
American.
She's on level. She's on level. Run for your life, though. So we know how she got there. She's recording on Discord. She has to run for her life. We don't know.
Dude, I can't
We don't know when
believe
the.
people are like so afraid of outside. Like it's just fucking grass, you know? It's
I think grass
it's
is-
the world.
Grass?
This is your gas block. The tube attaches to the rear of that, pipes your gas, your piping hot gas, back into the action to operate the rifle, or carbine in this case. Attached to that on your earlier 416s, and in fact if you specify it as a customer, I believe, is this folding front sight, and the 416C had that because that was basically standard at the time. It did not have a longer rail that goes over the gas block without the front sight fitted, as far as I'm aware. So if you're going to nitpick it, that would be the nit to pick. But you know, this has been modelled pretty closely on the real thing, including the little minor feature of this rounded feature here, which is the housing effectively for the cam pin, where the bolt rotates and locks the bolt to the barrel. It needs a little space for that pin to rotate into, otherwise it would hit the wall and wouldn't work. On the AR-15 family, that's square. On the 416, they made it round. Right, this is a nice one. Well, say nice one. It's an interesting one. We haven't got this. This is the Hauer. Again, correct name, but it is a generic military name, so no issue there. It doesn't have the name Hauer, which is the Japanese firm that designed and manufactured these. So this is the current generation, although there is a next generation out there, slightly, and if you like that kind of thing. It's very metallic and shiny, and if you like that kind of thing, good. I don't, so it doesn't. So, another Beretta. Suspicious quantity of Berettas in this game, or at least in this video. The nomenclature is a bit wacky, because you have the ARX-160, which is select fire, military law enforcement market, and you have the ARX-100, which is the primarily US market, I guess, and I'm sure it's around elsewhere as well in Europe. ARX-100 is semi-auto. The ARX-200, you would therefore expect to be the 762 or 51 semi-auto variant. From what I can tell, the ARX-200 is either select fire Amelie, so a Spanish gun, reminiscent of the MG42, but not the same, mechanically speaking. It's a 5.56 light machine gun, as you can tell from the game. Got that. Guns. Pretty unicorny, really, for this. That's another remarkable cosmetic job there. This is the Cry 612, again, correct name for the actual model. We haven't got one. Bullpup revolver shotgun with the option to mount, I think it's convertible rather than being a different model, to mount sort of the barreled action with a sort of foregrip arrangement onto the bottom of a rifle for that kind of master key shenanigans. Pretty unicorny, really, for this kind of thing. Albeit a compact 12-gauge shotgun with rapid fire capability is, of course, desirable for this kind of setting in the right context. Not a huge amount of... If you see a shotgun in this context, it's probably going to be a beanbag shotgun used by a SWAT team or something, more so. Or a breaching shotgun, of course. An actual fighting shotgun for CQB, in theory, very valuable. You'll rarely see it because something like a short barrel carbine can kind of do the same thing, really.
Elimination.
Another shotgun and another one we don't have. This is the AA-12, a modernized version of the AA-12 with some sort of rail on top, which I think I have seen. Weird rails again. So like a pseudo Weaver in front and Picatinny in the back. It's like a rail system mullet going on there. I don't understand why you do that. Oh, and why does the muzzle device taper down to something like 5.56 caliber internally? This is a 12-gauge shotgun. Oh, the spread there is hilarious. Excessively hilarious. That really is like Doom 2 super shotgun. Instead of being from one blast of two barrels, it's from a series of automatic but very slow shots, and they're just appearing all over the place. So the end result is that little super shotgun, kind of. From the name that they're trying to.
It fires one sort of explosive round, and its purpose is to like destroy cover and barricades and bulletproof shields, things like that.
Yeah, I get the impression from the name that they're trying to hark back to the medieval handgun, as spelling often is, with the double NE, but obviously it's not really that. It looks plausible. It looks like something that someone might have invented and paraded at SHOT Show, and then it disappears the week after and is never seen since. In fact, I've definitely seen some kind of a very truncated handheld breaching gun, but it didn't look like this. So I think this is an original design by these guys. It looks very cool. I'd like to see this in a movie. I think it would work well. I suppose this lets us talk a little bit about all the breaching stuff that goes on in Siege. As I understand it, that's one entry point, and then you're in, and you're clearing rooms with firearms. You're not using it to poke a hole through a wall, kill someone, poke a hole through a wall, kill someone, because that doesn't give you the dominance of a room. It doesn't give you a picture of who else is in there. You're going to get return fire immediately to that breach that you've made. So the niche for which this handgun kind of breaching tool exists, for blowing holes in walls, doesn't exist. What you would use this for is blowing hinges off in something that's very light and compact. looking. I just wouldn't want it on a realistic firearm.
It's called Black Ice. And
okay.
for some reason or another, it's the most sought after skin in Siege. Everyone wants like a Black Ice version of a weapon.
It's undeniably cool looking. I just wouldn't want it on a realistic firearm because it does seem to change the three-dimensional shape of the object. And clearly, that's an optical illusion, but it does seem to do that. But the pistol itself, now I do know a little bit of the lore on this. This came in with a BOPE. I like to pronounce it. Operator, so a Brazilian tactical type. It has the frame-mounted safety of the Taurus PT series, the PT92. There are other numerical variations for different configurations, but the classic is the PT92, a reference to the Beretta 92, of which this was originally a licensed copy. The license agreement ended, seemingly amicably, and Taurus in Brazil carried on making Beretta 92 patent firearms. However, Siege hasn't modelled PT92 or any other Taurus. It has modelled, bizarrely, pistol I picked up first, which is the original Beretta 92. Just 92, no S, no F. They've modelled this, so it has the frame-mounted safety, which is why it's on the Taurus, because they just carried on using it. The model they've modelled has the heel release. Not quite in the heel, but so the magazine cap is here. Press that button. Out comes your magazine. Now, I believe it was for the 1985 American military pistol trials. They insisted on a 1911 style catch up here, and that's when it moved to here and became the 92SB, which then became the 92F, and the rest is history, which is much easier to reach, to drop free. You can do that with the 92, but you have to do it with your support hand, which means you've got to hit it, hope it drops free, and then retrieve a fresh magazine for your reload. So it's too slow, and not what soldiers were used to, not in the US. It's kind of bizarre to see that antiquated last gasp of the heel release, really, in this game, especially in the hands of a Brazilian. Okay, guys, those were some more guns from Rainbow Six Siege. I've got a lot of history with the Rainbow Six franchise, not a great deal with Siege, unfortunately. I'm still hoping for a return to the tactical roots, please, guys. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We, here at the Royal Armouries, we have our 3 museums, our social media channels, our own YouTube channel where you can see more of me wittering on about guns. But whatever you do, come back and join us again next week.